will always keep his promise, and he'll bring you right there. And the moment that you choose not to be obedient, after you done went across the Red Sea, you done been in the wilderness for 40 years like Moses and the Israelites. You get to finally where you want to be, Dr. Bryant, at 42, 43. And you mean to tell me when God told you to speak to the rock, i.e. take your time, that you're going to hit the rock? Just because some outside chatter told you that you 42 and you should be married already because you're so successful? Now I'm going to talk to the rock all day long. I have one guy that I have dated off and on for 5 years.
I don't know if she should be a therapist or a pimp.
Paul Pierce is a single dad with 2 baby mamas, 4 kids. Dr. Cheyenne is a single woman playing around, going back and forth with a guy that's 9 years younger than her. Dr. Cheyenne and Paul Pierce are actually in the same basket, and the pot is just calling the kettle black. Welcome to my channel, where the only thing that matters is my opinion.
A lot of folks who do marriage early are choosing codependently a partner who can satisfy their trauma in that space.
Ooh.
And they trauma bond. And after that trauma's healed or that trauma shifts, those conditions are gone. So guess what's also gone? The bond. Because if the trauma changes, which is what's the glue to the bond, then the bond has to change. So now we say we outgrew each other. No, y'all never were with each other. You were with each other's traumas.
Ooh.
You don't even know this man.
Ooh.
When it comes to the topic of relationship and marriage, one, there is no such thing as a perfect age. You choose to get married when you're ready and mentally stable to be married. And that differs from person to person. Now, age for kids is a different topic, but when it comes to the idea of having a relationship, there's no such thing as a perfect age.
Of course!
There's no such thing as a perfect financial status, because you can lose money, you can get money. There are people that are financially stable and they never had a stable marriage, they got divorced. There are people that married when they were broke, they figured it out, and now they're happy. So again, it all comes down to the 2 people involved in the relationship.
Of course!
Because ultimately, that's not what makes a relationship work.
And now that woman has to assume a duality of mama and wife.
Yeah.
And the man only has to stay in one row, husband. Because at the beginning of a child's infancy, with all due respect, they don't need you for survival. They need you for presence and love, of course, but they don't need you for survival, right? They need mom. That's why she's breastfeeding. And so the man, 100%, Paul, gets pushed out of that dynamic, totally out of it. And a lot of women who are either fatherless girls or they had father in the home, because I always say you can have a present parent that also presents trauma. So just because a parent is present doesn't mean it doesn't present trauma. But if you're also a woman in the household who didn't see your mom navigate mommyhood and wifehood and balance that, then that woman doesn't know how to do that. On top of that, she may be experiencing postpartum.
Now, when it comes to these 2 and these podcasts, I feel like they say things to justify the situation that you're in and to make themselves feel better about some of the decisions that they've made in their past prior, or leading them to being the mess that they're in right now. You cannot tell me that the father is not important as the mother when it comes to the early stages of a child. Of course, the primary caretaker is the mother, but if you look at this from a relationship standpoint and a family standpoint, both the mother and the child will be dependent on the father when it comes to the stability of that household.
Do you understand the words that are coming out of my mouth?
Not only does a wife become a mother, but a husband also becomes a father. Now, the way the husband or father will express his responsibilities with the inclusion of a child is different from how a mother will express her responsibilities. And don't you know that we all complain about postpartum, especially women, but do you know that women go through way less or minimal changes or postpartum expressions if the father or husband is both present and active?
Here I come. Oh, here I come. Oh.
Wait for a second. I gotta ask a question. Have you all subscribed to this channel yet? I know you are enjoying this video, so make sure you subscribe so we can fly. Back to the video. So the dynamic or the explanations that she gives to portray or express her point is complete trash, in my opinion. Anyone can choose what they want to do in their life because everybody has the freedom of choice. But if you pay attention closely, when you ask these people questions concerning their own lifestyle and what they actually do for themselves, you notice that they begin to stutter, they begin to pause, they begin to take breaks, they begin to go at you almost from a defensive standpoint, because they know that what they say and what they do contradicts the type of person that they actually want to become.
Somebody's worked for 5 years.
We have been each other's companion for 5 years. And yeah, I have spent the block for 5 years, and it's the truth. And he doesn't like it. He's absolutely correct. He feels like I haven't provided.
Oh, your work.
We working together. Okay. We working together.
But you keeping him at bay. Or is he keeping you at bay?
He wants a relationship. He wants to be committed.
You just like the sex.
No.
Oh. Let's keep it 100. How you keep somebody for 5 years? That's like for real. You can't keep nobody at a distance for 5 years. I ain't never done no shit like that.
I am not vitamin D deficient.
No,
everything is good in that department.
No.
He wants a
relationship.
relationship.
She kept him on the side until she figured out if it's something better. I see where this is going.
Well, I'm a Jesus girl. The Bible says there's 2 permissible reasons for divorce. For me personally, because I'm not into casual sex.
Stay off the weed. It's stay off the weed.
His emotions in the relationship are just unstable to where, as a man, you gotta get vertical within yourself before you can be in a relationship.
You good with these words.
I am.
You good with these words.
Listen.
So why are you messing with him? Why are you playing mental games with him?
I'm not playing mental games with him. It's not mental games. It's all transparency.
Why is it still sex involved?
How do you know we sexing? We could just be having a
Because you from Long Beach, I know.
Oh my God.
You can't play me.
We could not be doing the
wood. I know what's going on.
But let me say, if that's what I'm doing, I'll say this and people are going to be mad and I'm okay. If I'm doing what Paul said, I'd much rather be the one walking you at the dog part than the one on the leash, if that's true.
That's exactly.
So that means, to my point, at 42, I'm not opt out. We are not opt out. Okay, we have options and we are not on the leash. We can actually be the one holding the leash.
If you want to be married right now, at this point in your life, why are you stringing somebody along for 5 years, especially when you don't want to be married with them after putting so much pressure on being a stable person, being a stable woman before you do enter marriage?
Emotional, damn it!
So when you pay close attention, it actually shows me that Dr. Cheyenne and Paul Pierce, or everybody on this podcast, is actually no different than the average person that you see day to day. Because the average person lives a double life. The average person will say things to people because they want to feel better about themselves and the situation that they put themselves in with their own hand. And they are not actually willing to make the necessary changes that they are willing to be made to make their life actually better. To call people out on their BS and how they choose to live their life, but then turn around and say that you would rather be the person holding the leash and not the person that the leash is being held onto, is hypocritical, because it says that these people just want to be in control. They don't want to be taken advantage of. And that's cool. Nobody wants to be taken advantage of. Everybody wants to love and everybody wants to be loved. But we all have to come to a point that if you just believe whatever you hear online from people that have no credibility, even though they can give good advice and they have their way with words, when it comes to what they do behind the scenes, their life is not even an example of the person that you want to be or the person that you want to be with, you realize that most of these people have a lot of issues. They have trauma that they haven't healed from. And because of that, they make sure that everybody ends up like them or worse. Paul Pierce is a single dad with 2 baby mamas, 4 kids. Dr. Cheyenne is a single woman playing around, going back and forth with a guy that's 9 years younger than her, yet proclaiming that she is not somebody to share anything because she still wants to be married and have kids. But how are you going to find somebody that you can marry, whom you respect and whom respects you, if you're playing around with somebody for over 5 years? Because the person that you want is not going to be looking for that. So these 2 people are just in the same basket, just speaking from 2 different corners of their mouth. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the subscribe button, make sure you like, and make sure you share.